it nonstop these last 2 days. It's like, it's just blown up.
I don't understand.
Carol Baskin fed her husband to the tigers.
Cat's obsessed with Carol Baskin.
My dog knows he barks on cue now when I say Carol Baskin.
It's so funny. It's such a good show. What's up, Andy? He just like sneaks in there. All right. So anyways, all right. So let's get started. So this is email marketing with Mailchimp. And essentially what we're going to do is I'm going to have Connor pretty much lead the training. We're going to go through sort of the real basics of Mailchimp, and then we'll show you some of the reporting features, and then we'll actually go through how to set up a sort of very simple campaign to, let's just say, promote a listing, for example. It's a template that we created that we have available that we can share with you guys. And then we can talk more about some of the more advanced features of it and what have you. And then we have a couple of agents on the call. I know, David, you're one, and I think we might have a couple, Judith, a couple other users that are using Mailchimp that, we'll bring them in on the conversation. We'll sort of mastermind around it, and we'll take it from there. Sound good? So if I can, just by a raise of hands, how many people use Mailchimp? I know David, you do. I know Judith does. Anyone else here? Either like physically raise your hand or just raise your hand in the chat. Okay, so there's a few people then. Okay, good. Okay, I'll just give a little bit of background. So when I was an agent, we didn't have, this was, let's see, I was in production maybe 6-7 years ago, something like that. So a lot has changed, with technology and the different platforms that real estate agents have, and also what the brokerages offer. So when I was in production, we didn't have any tools through the brokerage. We didn't have any kind of, email platforms or anything like that. So we all used third-party vendors, and we didn't have the support staff or anything like that either. So we essentially had to figure it out on our own. Hey, Kelly. And so Mailchimp was, it had been around for a while, but it was starting to pick up traction with the real estate agents. Constant Contact is another email marketing platform. I think Mailchimp is a little bit easier. And so that's what I learned on. I have used Constant Contact before, but Mailchimp, in my opinion, it's pretty easy. Hey, Therese, it's pretty easy to set up, and you don't need to have a design background or anything like that. If you learn the basics, even without understanding some of the more advanced features, pretty much anybody can set up an email campaign and can set up an e-blast to either promote your listings, or, for example, the market report that we sent out, you could promote that. You could also put together a newsletter, a monthly newsletter, fairly easily. So anyway, so that's something that I use. It's something that the other agents in my office used. And nice, David. Obsessed, really. I can't get enough. I cannot get enough of the Tiger King. It's the best.
Love it.
I think you need to grow your hair out like him, David, and just
That's
bleach
the look.
the top
Come
and
back.
the back. That's it. Get the mustache going.
I'll
Let's
do
see
it.
how many people dress up as the Tiger King for Halloween this year. It's going to be everywhere, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
I'll tell you what I don't want to see, Bryon, though. My fear is that people are going to dress up as the coronavirus, and that's going to, that will upset me.
Yeah, I get it.
I thought about that same thing. I'm like, oh, people are going to dress up like as the coronavirus, and it's not going to be funny.
That's not cool. No, that would be in bad taste, I think. Anyways, yeah. So let's just get into it, I guess. And as we're going through this, again, know that the marketing department, we have some templates that we can share with you guys. And as we push out our own email marketing for the company, for the brokerage, we can easily share those with you. We did a few of those last week to users in Mailchimp. So anyways, so it's something to think about if you're not using it. I strongly recommend that you learn about it and get into it, because it's super easy and it's effective as well. So with that said, I'll let Connor take it away.
Now, Bryon, you said you'd used Constant Contact before, and that's currently what I'm using. Are they very similar in the way that of the utilization?
I would say they are. Yeah, they're pretty similar. You know, the fundamentals of each is pretty similar. I haven't used Constant Contact in a while. It's been about 2 years probably. And the last time I used it, in my experience, I thought it was just a little clunkier compared to Mailchimp. I think Mailchimp is just, it's very straightforward. It's super easy to use and to set up the campaigns. So again, that's my preference. If, you know, I don't know necessarily if one is better than the other. So if you're used to Constant Contact, you know, I'd say continue using it. If you are looking to change because maybe you're having some issues with it, you can easily transition to Mailchimp.
Okay.
Pretty easy to get set up.
Well, it's free, so I'd rather it be free. So.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Yeah. And we'll get into that. But yeah, anything less than 2,000 contacts is free with Mailchimp.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah. So just an overview of Mailchimp. It's just an easy way to send out emails. There's drag and drop templates already made in there. We have a few that we can send out. But the building of the actual email is super, super easy. I've trained people on it, and they got the hang of it pretty quickly. And the way that your audience is set up in there, it's pretty easy to work around and see who's unsubscribed, see their engagement and things like that. It's just a good way to keep track of that. Here's an overview of the pricing. Again, under 2,000 contacts, it's free. There are a few other things that they offer for the upgraded packages, but a lot of other things that Mailchimp offers, Command kind of does better for our use. They offer postcard designs and things like that. So I don't really pay attention to it much because I think Command does a better job. But for what we're using it for actually emailing, the free option is good enough unless you have over 2,000 contacts. The people that you can email, it has to be people that have opted into receiving emails from you. If you start sending out a ton of emails to a huge list of people that have, you know, maybe you got them from random sources, they're all going to unsubscribe, and your account will be flagged as a spam account. And it's a real pain to get it unlocked and to get those people verified. So it's best to start off organically and make sure that everyone agreed to receive emails.
Yeah, if I can just jump in on that real quick, I'm just going to put my agent hat on for a second. You know, we have to communicate this to you guys just so that we're kind of, you know, just putting out there because we don't want anyone to get into trouble, of course, because there are agents that do get sued and things like that for, you know, mass emailing or, you know, calling people that are on the do not call list and things like that. So, and even texting now, there's some stories that I've heard recently where some people, some agents and some managers and things like that are getting sued for spamming, if you will. So anyways, so we just need to sort of put that disclaimer out there. What I would do as an agent, if I have my agent hat on, I would start, you know, with my contacts, my sphere of influence and things like that, put them into my database or, you know, use the database that I have already. And I would start to create my audience. That's what Mailchimp calls it, basically your mailing list. With that list, and just don't go out and take purchase lists and things like that and load them into Mailchimp and start spamming, because you could find yourself in some hot water with that.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. These are some best practices on when to post. Really, anywhere from Tuesday to Thursday are the best days to post, and I think the idea behind that is that people are a little more active in their email accounts in general on those days. Mondays, they're trying to catch up from things over the weekend. Friday, they're kind of slowing down on checking their emails because they're getting ready for the weekend. Tuesday through Thursday are kind of the more active days for checking their emails. And then the open rate for the time of day is pretty important, because if you see, it's pretty drastic how much it goes down if you start sending something out after 8 p.m. And then before 8 a.m. It's pretty low. So if you're sticking between 8 to 12, that's definitely best. This peak is at 10 a.m. And it's just something to keep in mind when you're getting ready to send out a campaign.
Yeah, let me just jump in on those too.
Yeah.
So I've had the best, I would say I've had like the best open rate, usually between 6 a.m. and around 11 o'clock a.m. Some of you, especially the people that are on this call that are users of it, you can have some input. You might have some other ideas on that. But I found for me, when I look at all the analytics and everything that I send out, that typically be a really good time, especially sometimes early in the morning, because if you think about before people actually start their day, just think about how you check your email and things like that. I know for me, while I'm getting ready, if I'm having breakfast or whatever, I may just like kind of flip through, and that may be my time that I'm reading some of those kind of mass email type of emails. And then also at lunchtime too is another time where I may sit, if I'm having lunch at my office at my desk, where I may catch up on some of that stuff. So that's kind of common. It's a common human behavior. Another thing that you can do in Mailchimp too is we can show you this later. You can click a box that will determine the best time to send the email for you. I'm not exactly sure what those algorithms are and how they decide that, but it's based on what your industry is and what your goal is, and then they look at all the other data that they have. Sometimes I use it and sometimes I don't. I don't have a real strong opinion on that either way, but when you're sending out campaigns, you can test it to you and then look at your reporting afterwards and see what times you have the best success with.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of it's different for everybody because we've definitely sent something out at what we thought was our peak time, and then it performed lower than usual. So we just have to pay attention to how your campaigns go in the past. This is really great. Once you actually send out a campaign, it gives you this really extensive report on how your campaign performed. And this is basically talking about the real estate industry, how we compared to others for this one campaign. We did 17%, and our average is 14.9%. The industry standard is 21%. So we've been performing a little lower than the rest of the industry.
Well, that's not good.
I know.
Did you pull a better report?
I know that's just our average.
I get it.
Right. Yeah, on top is just talking about this campaign, how many people how many opens we have, how many people clicked a link in there, how many people unsubscribed from that email. On the bottom, it talks about the demographics. 54% of the people that opened it were female, 44.8% were male, and that has an age range too. Most people that are opening these emails for us are over the age of 65. So if we're trying to appeal to younger people, maybe we want to rethink it and start doing marketing towards an older crowd. This was from that shelter-in-place survival guide that we did, and we had a bunch of links in there. And this basically talks about the top links that were clicked. And then on the bottom here, it shows the subscribers that opened it the most. So these people opened it this many times. They kept going back to that same email to check it out.
And where I think this is sort of powerful, I know for me, as manager of an office and like my recruiting efforts, for example, I'll take these reports and I'll on occasion I'll look to see who's opening, you know, a certain campaign that I may send out or something like that, and then just sort of track that. So for you guys as agents, though, you can start to see, you know, who in your sphere or your database is paying attention to what you're sending out, who is the most engaged, and then you may want to think about, if you haven't reached out to them in a while, reach out to them and get in contact with them. So there's a lot of sort of information behind these reports that you can pull that you can kind of use to your own advantage.
Yeah, I think that's great. You know, obviously, if you're sending out these property emails and someone keeps looking at all of your property emails, they're probably looking to buy a house soon. All right, I'm gonna make a campaign really quick. And this template I'm actually gonna send out after this meeting. It's something that I made that's a little generic, and it's easy to, it'll be easy for everybody to use, basically.
And while let's get into this just real quick, we have, like I said earlier, we have other templates, and we're happy to share this with you guys. So we'll send out the few that we have. We'll just send them out to the entire group here. We'll send those out to you. But I think you have to have a Mailchimp account in order for us to send that, or for it to work.
Yeah,
right?
I actually found a new way. I can just send a link. If you're
Okay.
signed into your Mailchimp account, you click that link, the template goes into your account.
Okay, so we'll have like a monthly newsletter template that I believe that we can share, and like I said, some property like new listings and things like that. So we'll send you know, a few templates for you guys so that you guys can get started if you want. And just know, as you're looking through this, as Connor's showing you how to do this, it's drag and drop. It's super easy. If you ever get stuck on anything, just let us know. But 15 minutes in and you're able to build a campaign pretty much.
Yeah. Hey, Therese, do you have a question?
I just had a quick question on, so the campaigns that you're creating that I know, and maybe you're going to do it right now, are they going to be HTML already up and then you can customize, and so if they click on it, it goes to your website and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'll show you. It's super easy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll take my hand down.
All right, Lisa Radding, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just curious. So this is in addition to using command. So are these capabilities also available to us in command, where we have all this data tracking?
For the reports and things, yeah, command does have that, but the availability to make the newsletters and make these property emails, command isn't really there yet. There's a newsletter template that's very, very basic and kind of restrictive. This gives you a lot more flexibility. In command, there's like 3 sections. You can't add any and you can't subtract any sections. Here we can make a really long, extensive newsletter, or make it really short if we want to.
Yeah, we're just finding right now that you know, where command is really good in some areas, one of the areas they're not quite there yet is with the email marketing. They do, like Connor said, they do have a newsletter, but for like new listing announcements and things like that, it doesn't work so well.
Yeah,
and we've been talking to our tech director in our region to see if there's a solution for that, and at this point it's not a priority for them.
So a quick question then. Right now we're looking at command, we're looking at Mailchimp, which is great. What was the other one? The other one we used?
Constant Contact.
Edge. So maybe at the end, I don't know if there's a way to better determine how best to make use of which one of these, since I'm back to having now the idea of 3 databases to manage, and I get overwhelmed just thinking about it.
Sure. Yeah, totally understandable. Yeah, we'll address that towards the end. That's a good question, Lisa.
For sure.
We'll circle back to that.
Cool. Yeah, and going back to the command thing, that's kind of why that's why I haven't taught a class on this yet, because I was kind of anticipating command to come out with something. But now, especially with everyone at home, I feel like everyone should just learn this, especially because command really isn't coming out with anything like this anytime soon. So I already have this template saved as a template in here. I'll walk you through each section. This is where you choose your audience. You'll have different people set up in here, different lists. The free version of Mailchimp only allows you to have one audience. So you'll just have one general database to send things to. But if you pay for an account, you can add multiple different lists. If you specialize in different neighborhoods, buyers, sellers kind of lists, it's pretty helpful there. This is where the from email address will come from. So we'll say this is coming from Bryon. Some of those emails I send out that are kind of a recruiting email, you'll see that Bryon's name is on there. Subject, you want it to be attention grabbing. We're doing a property email right now. You want it to say beautiful new home in Los Gatos. Excellent opportunity at however much it might be. Preview text, I usually take like the first sentence of the MLS description because it usually summarizes the property. Beautiful new construction home in a great location near downtown Los Gatos. And here we're going to design it. So I'll take you through this interface. These are basic layouts that Mailchimp offers. So a lot of the work there is kind of done for you. Saved templates, that's what we're going to be working on today because I've already made this. Themes are Mailchimp created templates. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Some of it, I don't know where you would use it in real estate, but it could be a good starting point if you have something else in mind that our templates don't achieve. So we're going to click this one. So on the left here, this is basically what your email looks like, and this is where you move around the different assets, and it's just blocks basically. Just change up the order there, and when you click one, you can edit it on the right. If you want to change fonts, they're all here. Everyone's seen an interface just like this before. There's some more settings and style, the line height. I'll show you that a little later. You can change up the columns. I usually stick to one column because on mobile, it goes to one column anyway. That's basically that kind of setup. Photos, usually you'll have this saved on your computer. You can drag it straight onto the actual block here, or go to replace, and there's a ton of photos in here already. Sorry, let me backtrack. These are all photos that you've uploaded in the past. So if you keep promoting this one property, all the photos will be saved into this into this folder here. I cropped that one down. I'm going to use a bigger one. Where'd it go? And then it's easy. You really just change the text. It's pretty self-explanatory from there. Here I would just copy the MLS description, copy and paste it. And here's a button. Really all you're doing is putting in maybe the property address or the MLS listing. You could also have this send an email to you. With a pre-written subject. I'm interested in 555 Los Gatos Boulevard. And it's a good way to get people engaged with you too. And then, or to drive traffic to the property website. Same thing here. And then this is an image card. So this text is here like normal, and then the photo will be in the same editable box. And that's basically it for making the design. Bryon, do you have anything to add with that?
Not so much. Just, you know, with the buttons and all of that stuff, you can customize all of that. So these templates that we'll send to you, feel free to use them the way they are. But if you want to, you know, change the colors of the buttons or the shape of them, or, you know, you want to change the fonts or, you know, move things around, it's super easy to do, and go ahead and make it your own too. You know, we understand that not everyone wants to obviously have the same looking e-blast, but we just basically want to give you something very sort of basic and simple to use, and then you can just change things in and out and just build on that if you want.
David Conte, you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you. How do you add, if this is the appropriate time, how do you add your contact list into Mailchimp?
Yeah, I'll go through that.
Yeah, if we can, before we leave that, Connor, just show everyone how you can preview. I don't think we looked at that, right? You can send a test, you can preview it. Let's just
good point.
Real quick before we leave.
Yeah, there's a preview mode, but sometimes it looks a little different. And you can also look at mobile here to look at it really quickly. I like to send a test email to myself. It just has the account users here, and you send a test, and then I'll look at it on my computer. I'll look at it on my phone, just to see what it looks like across all medias. And then, because that's how everyone else is going to see it too.
And for those of you that are just potentially starting out with email marketing, and I guess for those of you that have done it for a while too, I can't stress enough, preview, preview, preview. Send test emails to yourself a couple times, preview it, have somebody else preview it, and proof it, because I will guarantee you things will be sent out with typos and mistakes on occasion, and it will drive yourself nuts when you see it. And you'll have proofed something 3 times, and you'll send it out, and there'll be something wrong. So once it's out there, and it's too late. So just proof it and preview it as many times as you possibly can.
Me and Bryon have done it. We've sent 10 test emails, and we've sent out typos.
Something
for sure.
will go out.
Oh yeah.
It's not often though. It's not often.
Yeah. So and then obviously you're not making this at 8 a.m. in the morning. So you want to schedule it out to that peak time that we talked about. And here's that Mailchimp optimization thing that Bryon talked about. Let's see what it does for optimal time. We probably want to send this out tomorrow. Let's give it like 5 more seconds. See if it works. All right, it's not working. It might be
let's
my,
just move on from this.
yeah, it might be my internet. But anyway, let's say we're doing it at 8:45 a.m. This part down here, it's if you have a huge audience, it's bad to send it out all at the same time. It's kind of a if you're driving like 50,000 people to your website, it can crash your website. In our case, usually people don't have enough people to really bother with that, but I end up doing it in like 2 batches anyway, just to be absolutely safe. Schedule a campaign, and then you're good to go. Does anyone else have any questions on like designing or the interface, how all this works? If not, we'll move on.
Yeah, let's just look at the how do you upload audiences on mailing list,
Yeah.
and then let's just open it up and let's talk to David and Judith and see and others.
Cool.
To hear their input.
Cool. Let me see. If you want to import contacts, this is probably where everyone else is going to start because they won't have any contacts in here. The best way to do it is upload a CSV file. If you have it organized, it'll be good. I don't have any probably on this laptop of mine.
Essentially, you want to take a CSV file, that has all of your contacts. Whether you export it out of some other CRM, or if you just have the list in a CSV file or Excel file already, essentially you just want to take that file, just clean it up, if it needs to be cleaned up. First name, last name, email address. If you want to import the phone number, you can. Some other data points. I usually keep mine very simple and very clean, and then you can just upload that file, and you may do some field matching, which again, it's super, super easy. And you just upload that and basically ready to go.
Field matching, field matching is basically, it'll say, is this column first names? Is this column's last names? And say it's wrong, you just drop down and select, these are all first names, these are all last names.
Right.
Yeah,
it's easy. And then if you have individual single contacts that you want to add afterwards, it's on this other screen here, and you can just add an individual subscriber super easily.
Yeah.
Does that help answer your question, David?
Yes.
The other David? Yeah, Conti. Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Any other questions before we move on, and we'll have the others on a.
Lisa,
Lisa.
can you hear me?
Yep,
we can.
Yeah, so what I did yesterday was I actually set up command to PySync our contacts into Mailchimp, and it was a learning curve a little bit, but after it not working the first time I tried it, I redid it, and it was super easy actually, and it pulled in all the tags and yeah, so you can just have it, and then that way it will auto sync. So if someone's email address changes or something, you're not having to manage 2 databases.
That's great to know. That's good to know. Okay, cool. I didn't know we could do that. Good. That's helpful. Okay. Any other questions? No. All right. Let's open it up. David Giambruno, you want to talk to us about how you use Mailchimp and what your experience has been with it, and sort of some best practices that you've learned?
For sure. I'll be happy to. And while I'm doing that, Connor, I don't know if you have a chance to pull up the updated newsletter template that you're working on for me, but maybe that's something we can share with everybody as well.
Yeah, let me see what I can
And
Yeah,
and
you
while,
can start. You can start talking. I'll
Perfect.
try to sign in. Yeah.
Okay, so while Connor's doing that, a couple of things. So I use Mailchimp not only for newsletters that I send out to my entire database, but I want to give you guys a couple of things to think about to use it for as well. I also have a list of all of my vendors, you know, from painters, a handyman to contractors, things like that. You can create that on a Mailchimp that you can send out to clients. That you can, and any of this stuff actually, it's kind of cool. You can post it to Facebook as well. And so when people click on there, they'll get your newsletter or your property information. And then there's a little button on the top that allows them to subscribe. So that way they get added to the database and you can continue to provide them with good content. And then they can also look at other past, you know, issues of your newsletter, or other properties that you've used on Mailchimp. What else do I got? Oh, you can also, it's a great thing to send out. You can incorporate video. So one of the things that I'm working with Connor on right now is a market update. So we're going to have some market stats, and then I'm going to do a video intro at the beginning that's going to cover what's talked about below. With regard to templates, if you guys go to Fiverr, there's a lot of great vendors out there that will create custom templates for you for $5, $10, $15. And then I also know that in-house creative, you know, Connor and company can do that for you as well. And that's what I've had Connor do for me, and he's done a great job.
Hey David, can you tell me the the SMS code?
Oh yeah, for sure. As soon as I get it here, let me.
Yeah, that's a good point, David. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, video is pretty big. We use that in some of the different campaigns that we run as well. Just know that I believe it's still the same, that you can't actually embed the video into the eBlast, so it has to be hosted on, you know, YouTube or something like that. But that works out really well. And also there is a function, there is functionality in Mailchimp where you can push it to Facebook. So if you're, like David was saying, if you're sending things out, you can push it to Facebook, and that's pretty cool. That works pretty well as well.
Yeah, and the other thing, I don't think we covered it today, is that the app for your phone is great because it's got all of your click-through stats and open rates, you know, kind of at a glance. So you're able to monitor how well Mailchimp is or isn't working for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I highly recommend using it.
Yeah.
Oh, here's mine.
Yep. So you got this created elsewhere, though.
Yeah, so Fiverr did that for me for like $10. So this template that you guys are going to see Connor scroll through, we haven't completely updated it yet, but it just kind of gives you a chance to see the way you can customize your templates. This one's actually a little bit long, and we're going to pare it down, but it just gives you a sense of, you know, everything that you can put in there.
And David, let me ask you this: so the different kind of just go up a little bit. Some of these assets that were created, like that header right there, and like our services right here. Mm-hmm. Did you have somebody at Fiverr create all this for you?
I created those.
Or you, Connor, you did it. Okay.
Yeah.
So just so everybody understands, everyone on the call here, some of these things here are JPEGs, right? That you created.
Yeah,
Connor?
I created them in design and then put them into
right,
the
and then
email.
Right.
So it's this is definitely way more custom.
Yeah, this is more custom, but this is available to you guys. So if you want something like this, if you're interested in something like this, either kind of through in-house creative, through the services that we offer there, you know, are available. And then some other things you can look at Fiverr as well.
Yeah.
To kind of help elevate it a little bit too, and make it look a little bit more custom.
But yeah, I would strongly encourage everybody, you know, you should be sending your entire database something once a month anyway. You can actually put together some really nice, there's a lot of junk out there, but you can put together a really nice newsletter. The other thing that I'll add is that I have Roxanne. I think if you scroll to the bottom of that newsletter, Connor, I've hired Roxanne, and she'll go out and get content relevant to housing for me. And then and then we include that in the newsletter as well.
Yeah, she's really great. She does the content, the newsletter for Mark Von Canel as well. And with our direction, she went out, and I mean, now she does it on her own every month, but she finds real estate related news, new restaurants or hot restaurants, cultural events and things like that. So she really does put together a very well-rounded sort of lifestyle-driven, real estate-driven newsletter.
Yeah,
So
and
really
David, she basically does the whole email for you every month, right?
Correct. Yeah. The only thing that once we have it dialed in, the only thing that I add are any of the properties that I want to spotlight. But otherwise, she does all the content. She, duplicates the template and all that good stuff.
Cool.
Yep.
Lisa, you had your hand up.
Yeah. So this is David's newsletter that goes out every month. Is that just to make sure I understand?
That's
Correct.
what this is. Correct.
Yep.
And and then we'll get to Amal in just a second. I see your hands up. I just want to piggyback on what Dave was saying earlier too. If you're not doing this on a monthly basis at a minimum, you really should. You really need to. I can't tell you, how many leads I would receive off of my monthly newsletter from people that I may not have spoken to in a year, even. But it's because they get my newsletter every month. They used to. They would hit me up, and or a friend. They'd refer me to a friend or a colleague in their office or whatever it is. It's something that's super easy. Even if you have Roxanne do it or some other third party do it, or even if you're doing it yourself, if you have the time and you're able to do it, it doesn't take a lot of time each month, and it's super easy to set up, and it's easy to do, and it's a decent lead generator.
Yep. That's all I had.
Okay. Thanks, David. Anyone else? I know, Judith, you use it a little bit.
Yes, I used it not to the level of David, but I've sent several campaigns. I have an average of about 29% open of my emails, and I've done different ones. Immediately when the shelter in place went in place, I sent a note to everybody to let them know that, I'm here for you, And then we sent the survival guide. And last week I sent my interview with my preferred lender, the video. So I've tried video as well. Consistently, the open rate was between 23 and 29%. One thing that I wanted to mention that, in fact, I just learned today is that you can segment your audience. So even though we can only have one audience, which is a little bit limited, but then if you, especially for you, David, you asked the question how to import contacts, make sure that you have tags for the contacts when you import them. So then you can create the segments much easier, and then you can only send to that particular segment of the audience. One thing that I was doing, and I started using Mailchimp with a campaign that I did for buyers exclusively. And I did a series of emails, one every week. And the first 3, I wasn't using Mailchimp, so I had no way to track who was opening and, all the stats and how many were open. And the 4th one, I used Mailchimp, and I actually had a 39% open rate. So it's working for me. It's really good.
Good. That's great. Thanks for that, Judith. Appreciate it. Imal, you have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yes. My question to David is how much is he paying just now for the level of use that he's doing per month? And how many, what's the size of his database just now?
Yeah, so let me, hopefully I heard all of that correctly. Did you ask how much do I pay?
Yep, per month.
Yeah, so I mean, Mailchimp, I think, Connor, I still have the free one, right? Or maybe the $14 a month one. I'm not even sure. It's not much money. And then I pay Roxanne, I think I pay her $75 a month to create the content for me. My database size is about 5,000.
I think Roxanne's price definitely went up since, but
it has.
Yeah,
it has. She does still offer discounts if you pay annually versus monthly. So there's like a monthly price, a quarterly price, and an annual price. And so I think if I average out what I paid annually, I think it's about $75 a month.
Okay.
Okay.
And And we'll send out her information to everybody too.
Sure.
We'll send that out.
Thank you.
Anything else, Amol?
No.
You're good? Okay. Kelly, you had your hand up. Did you still, do you have anything? Question?
I got my question answered. Thank you.
You did? Okay, great. Is anyone else on the call using Mailchimp at all that we haven't talked with yet? Yeah, no, no, okay. Any other questions? Was this helpful at all? Is this something that you guys think that you would use? I mean, yep, good. And I'm really happy to hear about the pricing thing, because I get it. I understand, you know, having to maintain a database in Command, and then, you know, having to maintain this over here in Mailchimp and some of the other things. I get it. It's kind of daunting. I would say, as far as email marketing platforms, you know, Lisa, I know you mentioned Edge, right? And then we're talking about Mailchimp and can't, David. And then with Command and everything, if it were me, I would 100%, I would use Mailchimp for my email marketing. That's what I would do. I think it's just super effective, and it's efficient, and it's easy to use, and all of that. And now that I understand that the PieSync works, you know, maintain your contacts in Command, and then just sync it up to Mailchimp. That's the way I would do it. Edge, honestly, I would move away from. I wouldn't use it. I think it's a little clunky. I don't think it's as nice as Mailchimp. So that's my opinion on it. And again, if you have any questions on Mailchimp and how to use it, you know, Connor's available. You can schedule an appointment with him, and he can help you out with that. Just gonna look at the chat right here. Transfer campaigns from Edge. Lisa, no, to my knowledge, you can't transfer campaigns from Edge to Mailchimp. It's, you know, two completely different platforms. If you have something in Edge that you really like, and you need help setting it up, you know, reach out to Connor, and he'll see if he can help you set that up.
Quick question.
Yep.
So the neighborhood nurture on Command. So you think you should do that 2 weeks apart from this newsletter type? Would that be a good idea?
Yeah.
So they all do 2 weeks apart, kind of a,
yep.
you know?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, those are great because they're very personal to that person. When this is a little more general, but I still think you should keep doing that for sure.
Yeah. These backgrounds are too much. Okay. I think David wins it. All right. Any other questions before we? No? Okay.
No, good stuff, guys. Thank you.
All right, good. Yeah, thanks.
You guys are on fire.
Guys. I love it.
Thank you,
we'll send out those templates to you guys. We'll send out Roxanne's contact info. Again, reach out to us if you have any questions at all. And that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Cool.
Thanks, David. Thanks,
right.
Judith. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day.